Așteptăm câteva minute. Ora de începere a webinarului nostru era 11, dar văd că oamenii continuă să vină. Și atunci o să mai așteptăm puțin până la și 5 măcar. Dacă nu ați mai folosit platforma Google Meet, vedeți că în dreapta jos aveți un semn de mesaj și acolo putem scrie mesaje. De exemplu, eu am să scriu acum bună dimineața la toată lumea. Încă este dimineața. Vom folosi acest chat și pe parcursul webinarului pentru a aduna eventuale întrebări, comentarii. Suntem deja 30 de persoane. Cred că am putea începe partea de introducere și de deschidere a webinarului. Între timp, așteptăm să se alăture și ceilalți care s-au înscris. Eu sunt, bună dimineața, Dan Gianu de la Gorj. Bună dimineața, eu sunt Diana Gheorgheș, sunt project manager la Qulto România. Compania Qulto are mai multe companii mai mici, noi spunem că suntem un grup, Qulto Internațional. Eu sunt din partea Qulto România, iar colegii mei vor fi din partea Qulto Ungaria. În primul rând, bună dimineața tuturor și mă bucur foarte mult de interesul pe care am reușit să-l atragem prin propunerea noastră de webinar. Avem foarte mulți oaspeți din Republica Moldova, foarte mulți participanți din Republica Moldova pe care îi salut călduros și mă bucur că au primit cu interes propunerea noastră pentru acest webinar profesional. Avem foarte mulți bibliotecari din biblioteci universitare, dar avem și bibliotecari din biblioteci publice și din biblioteci școlare din România sau din biblioteci mai speciale, cum ar fi de la Biblioteca Institutului de Cercetare Teatrală din Târgu Mureș. O avem pe Marcela, pe care am salutat-o un pic mai devreme. Înainte de a începe, aș vrea să punctez doar câteva detalii mai degrabă organizatorice. Rolul meu în acest webinar este cel de moderator. Prezentările vor fi susținute de colegii mei de la Qulto Ungaria în limba engleză și de 3 invitați, bună dimineața, și de 3 invitați din universități din Ungaria. În primul rând, după cum am spus, prezentările vor fi în limba engleză, însă întrebările, fie cele adresate în secțiunea de mesaje, fie cele adresate în partea de chat, pot fi și în limba română și în limba engleză. Vreau să vă informez că webinarul nostru este înregistrat, Iar înregistrarea va fi disponibilă publicului pe canalul de YouTube Qulto Internațional. Pentru a preveni zgomotul, așa cum văd că deja majoritatea au făcut deja, vă rugăm să închideți camerele și microfonul pe parcursul prezentărilor. Vă rugăm să folosiți funcția de chat pe tot parcursul prezentărilor și în sesiunea de întrebări pentru a ține legătura cu noi. Am pregătit un foarte scurt PowerPoint cu doar câteva slide-uri. Agenda webinarului, vreau să vă reamintesc. Vom începe cu o scurtă prezentare a cerințelor actuale privind depozitele digitale. Aceasta este susținută de colegul nostru, János Panța, care este CEO pentru Qulto România. Urmează apoi 2 prezentări practice din mediul instituțional. Am ales 2 universități din Ungaria, cu care noi la Qulto am derulat niște proiecte de succes, și anume Universitatea Széchenyi István, de unde vor vorbi Eszter Totnemare, la Macai, precum și Universitatea din Tocai, de unde va vorbi Kis Timea Nemeșne. Urmează apoi o prezentare detaliată a soluției DSpace. Această prezentare va fi oferită de colegul nostru Zoltán Kanașnod. Apoi o sesiune de întrebări și răspunsuri și concluzii. De ce am ales această temă și de ce ne-am gândit că ar fi util un astfel de webinar adresat mediului biblioteconomic din România și iată și din Republica Moldova? Pentru că vorbim aceeași limbă și avem cam același tip de probleme. Am derulat un sondaj prin care am întrebat bibliotecarii despre principalele probleme cu care se lovesc atunci când vor să construiască un repozitoriu digital și despre soluțiile software pe care le folosesc. Răspunsurile ne-au arătat că multe dintre biblioteci folosesc DSpace, 44% dintre biblioteci nu folosesc o astfel de soluție, însă plănuiesc să utilizeze o astfel de soluție în viitor. Am întrebat apoi ce tip de documente ar trebui să ocupe locul cel mai important într-un repozitoriu digital modern și răspunsurile ne-au arătat că cele mai multe dintre biblioteci prioritizează temele de istorie locală, fotografii, documente de arhivă, tipuri de documente care se găsesc atât în bibliotecile universitare, dar și în bibliotecile publice. Toate instituțiile, fără excepție, au indicat lipsa unei interfețe moderne de căutare, și anume un OPAC de tip Discovery. Ce înseamnă un OPAC de tip Discovery? Asta va fi detaliat în cursul webinarului. Și în procente variabile, multe biblioteci se confruntă cu performanță scăzută sau instabilitatea sistemului, acolo unde este deja folosită o soluție pentru un repozitoriu digital. Foarte frecvente sunt problemele legate de întreținere și actualizare, precum și personalul IT insuficient. Toate aceste rezultate cumulate ne-au arătat că se justifică organizarea unui webinar prin care Qulto, ca și partener DSpace de nivel Silver, își poate promova și poate face cunoscute serviciile legate de DSpace, și anume serviciile legate de implementarea, customizarea, modernizarea și, foarte important, actualizarea unui depozit DSpace de la o versiune veche la cea mai nouă versiune. Acestea fiind zise, vom începe webinarul, vom trece la prima prezentare. O singură precizare: pentru cei dintre dumneavoastră care au nevoie de certificate de participare, le putem trimite în urma unui e-mail. Vă rugăm să ne dați un semn la romania@qulto.eu, să specificați numele complet și instituția, iar noi o să vă trimitem pe mail certificatul de participare. Pentru unii dintre dumneavoastră sunt importante, pentru alții nu. De asta le putem trimite celor care ne solicită acest lucru la adresa de e-mail de pe ecran. Prin urmare, îi dau cuvântul lui János. János este colegul nostru de la Qulto și el va deschide webinarul cu o prezentare despre ceea ce numim noi un ecosistem, despre felul în care elementele funcționale ale ecosistemelor de depozitoriu pot fi combinate în așa fel încât să folosiți o soluție foarte modernă și funcțională. János, the floor is yours.
Mulțumesc, Diana. Bună ziua, colegii. I'm trying to share my presentation. But from the beginning. So, welcome everyone. I'm happy to kick off today's presentation by introducing Qulto Repo, which is a comprehensive repository service for higher education and research institutions. Our ultimate goal is to help you unlock the full potential of your repository without the usual IT headaches. So I'm trying to show you that Qulto Repo as an ecosystem service is not only software development and installing software to computers, but rather a consultancy service, a hosting service, a longer-term maintenance service for your institution. So in the following next 10 minutes, I will speak about how repository changed from a storage system into a tool for visibility. I'm going to present you three types of repositories that are important today, and also what the future is going to bring us with AI and how repositories are connected to AI. So our motto is that repository is no longer a storage, but visibility, interoperability, and innovation. So Qulto is a registered service provider for DSpace, which means that, as I mentioned, we also offer consultancy to your library, how to be compliant with open science principles, how to create your customized collections and record management systems. We help you to migrate from legacy systems or DSpace 6 version. We also provide seamless integrations with other systems, most importantly, the discovery service of your library. And also, as as a long-term cooperation, we can give you hosting and maintenance service. You can check DSpace official website for our registered service provider title, and you can also learn about what registered service provider systems means. So as I mentioned, there are three main types of repositories. I'm going to explore all of them. Publication repositories or institutional repositories are the most common ones, which are mainly for visibility and dissemination. But with the open science principles, research data repositories are emerging, and in the near future, learning object repositories, which are the center of the new digital learning management, are coming into our services and life. So publication repositories are no longer only archives of documents, but it's true, it's mainly a document-based repository, but it is very important they have standard protocols to aggregate your disseminated works to international services like Crossref and other aggregators. It's also very important to integrate your repository with persistent IDs like the DOI system. And also, it's already a must to have an embargo management so you can comply with all the publishers' copyright restrictions. What are the typical collection types in an institutional repository? Theses and dissertations, journals, preferably integrated with your editorial system, most probably your OJS system. Also, if you have your own open books or chapters, it's a place to manage them, store them. You can have a collection for conference outputs, and the typical archival collections are also can be placed in your institutional repositories, also with heritage collections like your university history with photo collections. As I mentioned, the research data repositories are emerging with the open science initiatives. I'm bringing you here the reference project of the University of Szeged. We just finished end of last year a big Penerere project in the university, which main aim was to create a repository for research data. And what is specific with research data that they can be huge, like large scale data sets. With the multidisciplinary fields, so we needed metadata schemas that can serve these needs, and also these data sets can change time to time. So research never stops. So we have to be prepared for new versions of the same data set and ensure that research reproducibility is very important. For this project, we choose Invenio RDM by CERN. Invenio RDM is an open source repository platform developed in Switzerland, in CERN. And this is the repository system behind the Zenodo repository. And RDM is research data management. So this is a platform that is designed for research data. I'm mentioning this to underline that Qulto repo service is a large scale consultancy. So we are not only DSpace providers. We help you to choose the right system for your needs. And the near future are the learning objects repositories. The audience with this repository is different. Mostly your lecturers, your internal users are the ones who are targeted with such repositories. Think of your institution's property rights when your lecturers are creating their Moodle materials on their own computers. If you introduce a learning object repository, these learning objects will be repositoried into your infrastructure, and the university's property rights are secured. And in such repositories, the reusability is very important. So once a learning material is done, it must be reusable with other lectures in the university. So here is a short comparison of these three types of repositories. You can see that the metadata standards might be different. It is different how to integrate the repository, and also the core focus is different with these three kinds of repositories. So, and what does AI mean to us when we are talking about repositories? If you have a standardized metadata with full text, it is a perfect training data for large language models. So it will enable you to use RAG technology to shortly explain what it means. If you chat with ChatGPT or Gemini, it is like when you have a closed book exam with students. So if the student doesn't know the answer, he or she will be guessing, hallucinating. But in the RAG technology, you can define the set of resources over which your AI chatbot works. So you can create a hallucination-free knowledge base for your users, which will help you to create semantic search tool. So when searching and finding is not only about keywords, but rather the meaning behind the keywords. And not to forget about how AI can help cataloging of resources. AI can give you automated indexing of, for example, image repositories with automated keywords adding. And what is our technical commitment, and which are integrated our service? As I mentioned, migration is very important. We know that from DSpace 6 to later versions, migration is very difficult. My colleague Zoltán will talk about this topic in details. We also provide you security management with professional hosting and backup services. And also our REST APIs are designed to integrate your repository with other systems. And why we choose the title Lifebelt? Precision before transition. So if we know that universities are struggling with IT stuff, I think there is no difference between the countries. So that is why we can take over all the IT hustle and make a transition to a modern repository easier with our help. So thank you for your participation, and feel free to ask questions now or later, and contact us on these email addresses. Thank you so much. Mulțumesc. Diana, you are muted.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Evelina. Evelina noticed me. So we are going to switch to English now as a courtesy towards our guest speakers who will all speak English. If you have any questions for János now, you can write them in chat. If not, you can write them down. Don't forget, and we'll discuss them all at the end of in the last moment of the webinar. Thank you, János, for this short but I would say very useful introduction to some concepts that are very important when we are discussing a digital repository. Also about the importance of data, because data are the real wealth of a library, for example, or of a public collection. But these data have to be carefully curated, organized, like János said, precision before transition. We are now going to invite two ladies who are going to give us a very nice and interesting example of how these concepts and these values are put into practice. They are going to tell us about the challenges they met. These two guests are Cila and Esther. They both come from a prestigious university, Széchenyi István University in Győr. Esther Tote-Marek is the manager of the Library Center from the Library and Archives of the University of Széchenyi. And together with her is Cila Mokoy, specialist in digital humanities and library assistant from the same university. Please, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. We are happy to be here with you. My name is Eszter Marek, and with my colleague Csilla, we together work at the Széchenyi István University Library and Archives. And in today's presentation, we would like to introduce our institutional repository. We will give you a short overview of the system, its structure, and the type of contents. We will also talk about the development of repository over the years, as well as the customization work we carried out together with Qulto. First of all, let me introduce our university. Széchenyi István University has grown significantly in recent years. Today, we have almost 14,000 students and more than 1,000 lecturers, researchers, and PhD students. Education and research take place in 9 faculties across many different disciplines. Our university library and archives, with a staff of 30 professionals, support teaching, learning, and research activities. Moving on to the scientific output. Regarding the repository, the most important thing is the large amount of knowledge produced at the university every year. As you can see on the slide, around 2,300 students graduate every year, creating the same number of theses. You can also see that the number of scientific publications has been grown too. Since 2020, research output has increased significantly, and today our researchers publish more than 1,500 papers every year. To preserve this content and make it available in the long term, we need a reliable repository. Now let's see, why is the repository so important? There are 3 main reasons. The first is visibility. Documents in the repository can be found through search engines and academic databases. For example, they can appear in Google Scholar or in general search results on Google. They can also be indexed by other academic platforms, which makes the research easier to discover worldwide. The second is citation impact. When research is easier to access, it is more likely to be cited by other researchers. In addition, persistent identifiers, such as DOIs, help ensure that the content can always be found and accessed without issues over time. The third is institutional visibility and prestige. The repository helps to showcase both the work of individual researchers and the achievements of the university. In this way, it increases the visibility of the institutions and highlights its research output to a wider audience. There are several repository solutions available. Previously, we used Riadox, a Hungarian repository platform. It served us well for many years, but we needed greater flexibility and better integration with other systems. From different options, we selected DSpace, one of the most widely used open source repository platforms in the world. DSpace offers strong community support, extensive customization possibilities, and good interoperability with other scholarly systems. The system is based on DSpace version 8.1 and runs in a cloud environment. System operation and technical support are provided by Qulto International through a service agreement. The repository was customized according to the requirements defined by the library staff. Our current repository, SEREP, was launched in 2024. Its name comes from the Hungarian word for Széchenyi István University Repository. SEREP stores theses, dissertations, scientific publications, and archival materials. At the same time, we manage access carefully and follow copyright and publisher requirements. We have been collecting electric theses since 2014. An important milestone came with the development project in 2026. Since then, SEREP has been able to manage not only theses, but also scientific publications. Today, SEREP is more than just a storage system. it helps make the university's research more visible and easier to access. Looking ahead, we expect the number of scientific publications in the repository to continue growing. Our goal is to make SEREP an even more important platform for preserving, sharing, and promoting the university's research output. Here you can see the system architecture of the software. DSpace uses a hierarchical structure. At the top level are communities and categories, followed by collections, and contains the individual records. Each record can include one or more files, such as full-text documents or supplementary materials, for example, images, tables, etc. This means that users can find both the description of the item and the related files in one place. Now I would like to talk about the customization work we did with Qulto and the areas where we still face limitations. The repository was developed in close cooperation between Qulto and our library. Together, we implemented several important improvements, such as university-branded interface, customized terminology, improved record displays, and clickable DOI links. However, there are still some areas that could not be fully customized. In particular, advanced search functions and some administrative features still need further development. At the same time, DSpace continues to evolve, and new versions often bring useful improvements that may help us address some of these limitations in the future. And what can libraries manage? One of the main advantages of DSpace is that many tasks can be handled directly by us, by the library staff. We can manage users, permissions, communities, collections, and access settings. We can easily import and export data, manage metadata, follow the workflow process, and decide who can see specific items, for example. This flexibility allows us to respond quickly to the needs of researchers and the institution. Cilla will talk about how this works in practice, so I will now hand over to her, and thank you for the attention.
Hello everyone. Bună dimineața tuturor colegilor. My name is Cilla Mokkai, and I will like to present some best practices, and I will focus on how we actually use the features within DSpace. Let's start with a basic question. How does data actually get into the system? Well, there are three main methods for this. The first is the traditional manual entry. In this case, the library colleagues process the documents, and they use unique forms that are based on flexible metadata schemes. Our second option is batch or bulk upload. And we mostly use this for large volumes of documents that share the exact same metadata structure. And you can picture this this process like we just bundle the files together with their descriptive data in the specific SAF, simple archive format structure, and then we just upload them into the system. And the third and the most important and most advanced ingest method is database integration. And we are really happy that over the past year, we actually developed a solution using SWORD protocol to pool automatically both the metadata and the attached documents from the Hungarian National Scientific Bibliography, called MTMT. So our scope is quite broad. As you can see, we have a wide variety of documents, and for these we use all the three methods in parallel. For example, for a PhD thesis and publications submitted via email or our special unique documents, we use the manual entry. You might think that manual processing is a little bit outdated, but we simply cannot completely let it go because this actually gives us flexibility. It allows us to jump in and fulfill individual requests from our researchers. And with manual entry, we can just simply go in and upload all kinds of unique documents and assign metadata to them, and then just publish them in our repository. Moving on, our second option is batch upload. We use this for standard thesis, harvested scientific publications from the internet, which we harvest, and conference proceedings as well. And meanwhile, scientific publications are able to come from the Hungarian National Scientific Bibliography as well, using our database integration method. I would like to briefly share a few more thoughts on the entire workflow regarding batch upload. First, we have to collect the metadata, and we do this through automated workflows for thesis. And we actually use custom developed Python scripts, which we developed here in the library for harvesting the metadata from the internet regarding our university's online journals. The next step is document preparation. We process the bitstream documents, we use quality control, we validate the documents, and we ensure the standardized file naming. And finally, we handle the SAF packaging. We basically use custom-made scripts to generate the SAF structure, then we zip everything together and run the batch upload process into the DSpace system. Now let's take a quick look at the ingestion interface. This is the sidebar where you can simply start a new process, select a zip file, specify which collection it should go, and if everything is correct, then the items just appear shortly afterwards in the selected collection. Although you should know that there is around 500 megabyte upload limit, but we can still upload easily hundreds of documents at once. And what was the result of all this? Well, as you can see on this slide, since introducing bulk uploads in 2024, the number of working hours spent on this task has significantly decreased. We actually saved around 500 working hours. Moreover, we can produce higher numbers with fewer human resources. So that's good news. And over the years, our dedicated staff, as you can see in the third row here, decreased from 16 people down to 8. So all in all, we are really satisfied with this feature in the DSpace infrastructure. And if all that wasn't enough, let's turn to our third and final method, that database integration. I think in 2022, everyone expects that IT systems should be able to communicate with each other. So we are really happy that our system, STERAP, is among the first nationally to be able to pull metadata and full text documents from another scientific database, which is the Hungarian Science Bibliography. To give you a quick overview of how this works, it basically involves author-initiated deposits from the MTMT database, and this bias word protocol, and this allows that the metadata and the full text documents as well are pulled into our system. But I should also mention that the system doesn't just simply pull the data over, it actually transforms it, because we have set up a detailed mapping process with the colleagues from Qulto, to whom we are really thankful for this. And the incoming information perfectly matches our own metadata fields. So, and the other thing that it's really great that firstly, the documents are going into a staging collection where the librarians can review and validate the documents before it actually goes live. So you might ask what happens to these documents on the web. Well, first of all, the system allows us to regulate access, and that's good news. In some cases, neither the metadata nor the documents itself is publicly visible. We typically use this for confidential materials, classified theses, but for example, embargo documents fall into this category as well. A slightly more open scenario is when the metadata is public, but the files are restricted. They can only be read on designated computers here in the library. And finally, there is, if there is no copyright problems, restrictions, then we like to practice providing documents open access. This is the ideal scenario where both the document and the metadata are publicly readable and accessible to anyone from anywhere. Now, moving on the user side, here you can see what the landing page looks like for our repository setup. As you can see here, there are two large communities. It's at the bottom of the picture. One is dedicated for the library documents, and the other one serves the archival material. And if you are visiting our repository, here you can see the link. So if you are visiting the repository, you can just do a simple free text search in the search bar. But DSpace also offers search and filtering options as we librarian like it. For instance, we have a comprehensive full text search, which means that it provides global search across all documents and all their metadata. But I should note that there are some limitations to it. Right now, we cannot fine-tune the results of the search. So, for example, we cannot change the sorting or the order of the results. But to help with navigation, the platform offers practical filtering options as well. And this allows users to easily search and find what they are looking for. Our experience is that that students often choose to use the free text search. You know, they like it. The more it looks like the Google search bar is, the better. So you can see here the actual results, just simply doing a free text search. For the phrase you can see here, global challenges. But what's even better, it's that the specific document in the repository can be found and accessed from our library discovery page as well. This is our discovery page. And we are really happy that although we provide services in separate platforms, the information is linked. So this ensures that users can browse literature and they can find what they are looking for in a user-friendly way. So here you can see the same phrase, global challenges, and if you just click on the link, then it goes to our repository website where the whole document can be read. So in a nutshell, this is how we use DSpace, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. Mulțumim foarte mult pentru atenție, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Cila and Esther. Thank you for sharing with us the challenges and the achievements of setting your repository, as well as the data about your university and your workflows. I think it is very impressive how you managed to save so many working hours with a good software and a good workflow, especially because you mentioned your the team dedicated to the repository reduced from 16 people to 8.
Yes.
And I think everyone in the audience knows what it means to have to deliver a bigger amount of work with a smaller team. This is also happening over here, but you found a very smart solution. If there are questions from the public now for our guests, Cila and Esther, we are waiting for them. If not, Cila and Esther will be with us till the end of the webinar, I hope, and they will be happy to answer your questions later on. We're now moving on to the next guest, the next speaker, Timea Nemeshne Dr. Kish. She's a senior researcher associate at the University of Tokai, and she will present us a very interesting project, a citizen science project about wine labels. Timea, welcome, and we're eager to find out how you use DSpace for wine labels. You are muted. Please turn on your microphone, Timea.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to be here. I'd like to share my slides. Just a second, please. Okay. Do you see it?
Yes, it is okay.
Okay. So I'd like to speak about just a case study about our wine label collecting citizen science project in which we successfully cooperated with the Qulto. But first of all, I'd like to apologize because of my voice. I'm a bit ill. But I'd like to speak about the citizen science, but of course just in a nutshell, because it is very important to us. It refers to scientific projects led by experts or scholars in a given field with participants, including not only professionals, but also volunteers outside the academic world. These volunteers often lack the relevant professional qualifications or experiences, but under the guidance of the researchers, they can carry out important parts of the work, for example, data collection, which is essential for producing scientific results. Almost anyone can join a citizen science project if they feel motivated to volunteer and would like to spend their free time doing something valuable and useful for the community or for the academic world. Research projects built on the activate support of the community have several major advantages. For example, they can reach a large number of volunteers, so data collection, observation, or even experiments can be completed faster. They also enable the collection of much more data. From our point of view, it was extremely important. But wine labels, because they are the part of our cultural heritage, especially in our wine region called Tokaj-hegyalja, I think that you saw that or know that our university can be located in the heart of this wine region, Tokaj-hegyalja, in Sárospatak. That's why we focused on wine labels. They are an inseparable and organic part of the history of winemaking. And for this reason, they can shape identity much the same way as, for example, the built heritage or the material heritage. Recognizing this, the staff of the Cultural Heritage Sciences Department, I'm the head of this department at this university, in cooperation with the Library and Information Center of the Hungarian Academy of Sciences, set themselves a goal in 2024 to collect historical and contemporary wine labels that still survive but are mostly not held in public collections, to describe them with metadata and to make them available in a freely searchable database. This is what we make in cooperation with the Qulto. We hope that this database will be used by many local residents for the benefit and enjoyment of us all, but we also plan it to become an essential database for professional researchers into the history of viticulture. Our first steps, in 2025, we focused directly on labels preserved by residents and institutions in 4 settlements, 3 smaller ones, Erdőbénye, Hercegút, and Tarcal, and of course in Tokaj. With the help of local volunteers, we surveyed and processed their labels, adding several hundred items to our digital collection. In addition, several private collectors and wineries also offered their help, and among their papers, we found unique labels, in some cases known only from only a single copy. So that's why I think that our work is extremely important. Although we paid special attention to the 4 settlements, we were very pleased to receive photographs of many foreign language labels made for export from volunteers both within Hungary and beyond its borders. We also received several other drink labels connected to Tokaj-hegyalja, but I will speak about them in detail later. And our second phase was this year, when we continued the project by involving more mayors, 3 more mayors' offices and schools. And we also announced the label collecting competition for students. The winning team will receive a free community programs connected to their class trip. And what about our database? The labels donated by private individuals and collected by local communities are added to an online, free, and constantly growing database created in the university repository generated by the Qulto. We record the labels with the broadest possible set of data so that users can filter them in many different ways. If you see this slide, you can see, for example, a map search or an advanced search system, or if you see it, our volunteers can also upload data to the repository, but only just in a basic level. And of course, we verify their data after it. And the number of labels we have collected has already exceeded 6,000 items. So I guess that we have a lot of things to do with them. And what about the history of the wine labels? We don't know exactly when the glass bottles and labels began to be used in Tokaj-Hegyalja, but the first known label example dates from the 19th century. And the first visual element placed around the neck of wine bottles for purposes of origin protection was the glass seal. And in addition to this, for example, ownership marks, various embossed and edged inscriptions are also known from Tokaj-Hegyalja from the 19th century onwards. Glued paper labels began to spread from the early 19th century, together with the rise of the lithography. And although the content of the wine bottle labels had already been debated to the 19th century, legal regulation began only in the early 20th century. So we learned a lot about the history of labeling processes, machines, for example, methods, labeling methods, or visual design. But I'd like to speak about the material questions, about the material forms and aesthetics of these labels. Because in addition to the usual rectangular shape, labels may be oval, more rarely circular or shirt-shaped, or they may have a unique form that helps identify the winery more easily. And with the help of our database and search system, we are still able to organize these items in many different ways. Or, for example, we learned a lot about the quality of the paper used, which was also influenced by economic factors. For this reason, for example, the paper for wine labels in the 15th, 1915th and 16th was often inferior to that used around the turn of the century. The glue used for labels has also changed significantly. Because of this, it is much easier to remove an early 20th century label from a bottle than a contemporary one. All the labels were attached with natural water-soluble adhesives, for example, like an egg white, and so on. And that's why we primarily collect PDF, JPEG, or TIFF images of the labels. And on Tokaj-Hegyalja labels from the first quarter of the 20th century, we'll often find grape motifs, coats and arms, and so on. But at the same time, a few companies appeared with new modern labels, and Hungarian-style motifs were no longer present on labels. So it was an interesting period in the first quarter of the 20th century. And as our label database grows, we may also be able to answer whether this was a part of a broader trend, or simply reflected the taste of the winemakers. We don't know. Today, labels are increasingly seen as a brand and as a key visual element representing wineries. Some wineries emphasize consistent, high quality by using long-established label families with clean visual content. Others emphasize originality and individuality through designs that depart from traditional appearances. We hope that these wineries will also use our database successfully. And we learned a lot about our database because we found many labels which were not wine labels, direct wine labels. So we learned a lot about the trends in wine exports related to Tokaj-Hegyalja and from the products on the whole, because as we know, the word Tokai clearly stood for the quality. But it is no coincidence that vodka or even face cream were and still are sold using this name. For example, the Tokaj Hegyalja Grape Growners Fruit Distilling Cooperative Liquor and Rum Factory in Sárospatak produced not only the products named in its title, but also, for example, orange liquor and mixed fruit syrup. And as the label says, it was colored with harmless tar dye, which means kátrányos festék, or vopserdégudron, if I pronounced it well. So it's a bit funny, but I don't want to taste it. And besides wines, the best-known alcoholic Tokaj drink was undoubtedly the wine distillate. And we learned a lot about, for example, the first cognac factory in Tokaj Hegyalja, which was founded in 1894. I'd like to speak about our results, but first of all, from a technical point of view. Because collecting labels is a task that takes several years. We have to reach private and institutional collectors and volunteers, and they motivate them so they truly feel the project in theirs as well. One thing is certain, our helpers have done clearly value creating work, and their support is very important for us. The pilot projects of 2025 can be seen as a shared learning process. Their success is shown by our own database of more than 6,000 items, as I mentioned it earlier, and also by an open-air exhibition held in the summer, which we presented in several settlements of Tokaj Hegyalja. And we have continued to hold exhibitions even since. And the example of the 4 settlements that joined in 2025 also showed how diverse a label collection can be and how strongly the work processes may be connected to the local memory of individual settlements. This local connection was an excellent source of motivation for local people. And at the same time, it brings not only opportunities, but also responsibility. And we kept this in mind when defining our plans for 2025 and so on. So there is no citizen science without volunteers. In fact, we were not the ones who started label collecting. It was started by private individuals who by buying one old label or collecting several hundred of them, also laid the foundation for our digital collection. We are very grateful to these collectors, of course, for making the labels available to us, and several of them also regularly help us to identify these old labels. During the collection and processing of the labels, we are able to connect many pieces of microhistorical information to individual labels. These details clearly show how rich labels can be sources of information when researching the history of family or settlement in Tokaj Hegyalja. And what about our plans? In the next phase of the label collection, we would like to extend the collecting process to all the 27 settlements of Tokaj Hegyalja, so that by approximately 2030, all available data will be in our hands, but I hope so. To achieve this, we are planning and implementing additional pilot projects. During the collection work so far, we have received many foreign language labels from Hungary and abroad, as I mentioned it earlier, for example, from Germany and Georgia, as you see it on my slide, or from the USA, for example. These labels helped us to understand that the collection of foreign provenance labels cannot be postponed either. From this reason, another of our goals is to research the history of Tokai wines as an export produced through the labels. At the end, we don't have labels from Romania. So if you have, or if you know about wine labels, which are available in, for example, private collections or museums, please don't hesitate to contact me. Or if you would like to be our volunteers, please feel free to write me an email and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Timea.
Oh, our logo, and we have a logo, and my email address is here. And yes, of course, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much. Romania has a lot of good wines, and so does Moldavia. So I do hope after this presentation you will manage to enrich the collection with labels from Romania and Moldavia. Thank you for this very interesting account of how an invisible and very atypical and special collection can be turned into a globally searchable and high prestige academic showcase. It is clear that you take wine for serious in Tokai, and thank you so much for showing us all the steps and the results of this project. Now, if you have questions for Timea, don't hesitate to write them in chat, and we'll answer all the questions at the end. We had a raised hand during the presentation from a lady in the public. If there was for a question, you can write it in the chat now. Maybe you don't know, but this platform doesn't have a private chat, like maybe you have in other platform like Zoom. So whatever question you have, please write in the chat, or if not, write it down, and we'll reserve some time at the end. Now we are moving on to the next presentation, because we've seen some theoretical concepts and some principles presented by János, our colleague. We've seen two wonderful examples of two different but equally impressive digital repositories. But let's see how it looks from the technical point of view, and how can an institution migrate securely and without data loss from an outdated DSpace 5 or 6, which is the most used in Romania and maybe in Moldavia, to the last version of DSpace. So now I invite our colleague Zoli, who is the Chief of Development and Product Owner at Qulto. He's going to show us a live demo, and he's going to discuss a bit about the challenges of such a migration. Zoli, we're listening. We are all eager.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Zoli, Zoltán Kanász Nagy, who is working for Qulto. and is working in this area, in this repository area at this company. And I will start with some slides about DSpace recent years. And after my presentation, I will demo a freshly released DSpace site. And I will show you the basics of a fresh DSpace instance. I will open my presentation and share with you. My presentation is about the DSpace evolution, DSpace then and now, which is starting in my point from the 6th version, which is at this point has reached end of life, and no security patches, no new features is coming to this version, and still every month has its own added risks. It still has its dated and desktop area interface, which doesn't have mobile-friendly interface, and lacks all the modern accessibility expectations. But in engine like, it has outdated, but your data is fine. And the architecture, because the architecture isn't, the data is fine, because the basic concept and the basic record structure remained still the same in fresh versions. So if you have a DSpace 6 version of instance, you still can upgrade your instance into the latest one. My next slide is starting from DSpace 6 until DSpace 10.
Zoli, just a moment. There was the small screen, but you just closed it there. This is what I wanted to mention. It's okay now.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to close. My current slide is from DSpace 6 to DSpace 10, which is the current release of DSpace, came out freshly in June the 1st. So this is the current release, and if we are looking to the 6th version, it dates back to the October of 2016. So it dates back to nearly 10 years ago. And this outdated version has the XML UI and the ESP UI interface, which is completely modified in the next version, which was DSpace 7. DSpace 7 introduced the new UI, which is the Angular UI, and the DSpace team completely rewritten the REST API and introduced a lot of features which the DSpace 6 version doesn't have. So if I say, or if I had to say more about the transition, the 6th version, between the 6th and the 7th version was the major watershed, because it has the largest code change, over 1 million of code change between these two versions. It introduced the new Angular UI interface with so much features, and the new mobile-friendly interface. It introduced the new configurable entities feature, where you not just have flatly stored records, you can have record connections between your records. It integrated the Chris data model with publication, people, project, and organization units, and all of the relations between these elements. If you see the time between the 7th and 8th version was 3 years, and in the 8th version, the DSpace team decided to create a release in every year. And if you see, the 9th version came out in last year, and the actual release came out this year. So the release schedule in the DSpace team now moved to every year it came out a new release. DSpace, the 3 actual shifts from the previous, the 6th version, is the 2-app architecture. In DSpace 6, it was everything is rendered by the backend, and from that way it doesn't work quickly and doesn't give a lot of features like the new interface has, and the new one has a really good and a complete REST API backend which help for integrations, and it has a separate front-end, Angular UI front-end, which is very fast, mobile first, and it can teamable in easier way than the previous version. Because from DSpace 6, DSpace introduced the configurable entities feature. Now you can create entities, you can create typed entities, and for example, persons, projects, organizational units, and publications, and you can create relations between these elements. And the third part of this slide shows a lot of new features introduced in the new versions. For example, the org ID integration, OpenRA integration, more modernized OAI PMH interface, the IIIF integration, and all the other stuff which I can't write into one slide. And but I said your data is safe because the main concept, if you are using DSpace 6, the main concept in the next versions are remained, and you can upgrade your site. It has the opportunity, and if an institution decide to upgrade their DSpace repository site, all the main elements will preserved in the new engine, in the new instance. For example, if you have 50,000 of records, in the new system, you will have 50,000 of records. All the persistent URIs are reserved. For example, if you have handles, if you have paid handles in your previous version, all the paid and handles will be working in the new sites. Items, metadata, bitstreams, and checksums will be the same. All the communities and collections will be kept in the new version, in the new instance. And if your site has a lot of users, group, and permission, it will still remaining in the new version of DSpace. In this slide, and I think it's my last slide about DSpace, I will shortly demonstrate how we can do the migration process. We can do the migration process in two ways. If your DSpace site is well organized and you want to preserve everything in your site, the best way is an in-place upgrade path, where we export the database and the assets of your instance, creating a new site, and migrate the database in place, and we start in the new sites and validate the results. The second way is fresh install and re-ingest. This path is better when you don't want everything in the new site, because something like that, your old database is messy, or a big metadata cleanup is needed to do before the migration. If we do a fresh installment and re-ingesting all the content from the previous version, we have to export everything what you want, and if some transformation is needed, we are doing the transformations with the data. We are doing import packages, and when the import packages are ready, we are importing everything into the new DSpace site. So when we starting migrations, at first we do an assessment. We consulting the customer, what is their need, and which path is the best for them. We are doing the migrations in a separate instance, so that's very important. Your production instance stays untouched until you approve the new version is okay, and then if you validate, and not just you, we are both, they validate the migration and the result, and everything is okay, we can change the new site to have the original URL, and change the working site of your DSpace. This tells about the migration side. One thing is, or I should say about when you migrate DSpace. In DSpace 6, the UI has a completely different architecture. It has a ESP and XML UI, and DSpace 7 introduced the Angular UI. So if you have a custom theme, we have to do the custom theme with using the Angular UI elements. So basically, not just database migration is needed, but some front-end based coding is needed to have the proper and previous version like theming of your DSpace site. And I think is in my slides I finished. And next is I prepared a sandbox site which is using DSpace 10. It's the fresh version of DSpace, and preloaded at around 50 records to demonstrate how this Angular UI interface is working in action. DSpace still has the same record architecture, and Esther shared a slide page about the record structure of DSpace. The top level of DSpace is the community level. That's why I choose the communities and collection page, where you can see the top level hierarchy of your repository. The first three elements is the communities, and the elements in the communities are the collections. And if you want to create a record, you have to choose a collection where your records are stored in. Records has bstreams. In DSpace terms, the bstreams are the files. And I think that's all. So communities, collections, records, and bstreams are the main concept of the DSpace record storage. And I think the next I can show you is the discovery interface. I create home news elements for this webinar, and the first page and the front page is showing you the communities, the top-level communities in DSpace, and the bottom page, you can see your recent submissions. It can be configured how many elements will be displayed, but in default, it has 5 recent submissions. You can load more if you want, and it brings you the search page, and but you can reach the search page if you just click on this magnifier without adding any keywords in it. Just use an enter button, and in this time you are seeing all the content of your DSpace. The left side of the page shows the filter bar, which is faceted. It has author, subject, date, item type, access type, and has five facets. And because in this generated records, I have generated author names and some subject, I can show you how it is working. You just have to click on the subject you like. The result page immediately refreshing, and the results has 2 basic layout. These are the list layout, and it has a grid layout where the main focus is the media, the thumbnail of the record. So if you are looking for images and media related stuffs, I think it's better to use the grid-like layout. If you are looking for the data and more about the metadata, it's better to use the list layout of the result page. You can reach your records if you are searching into it, but you can browse your records if you are starting in the communities and collection interface. For example, if you are clicking on communities, all the records of the community is showing immediately. But if you want to filter about the collections of this community, you just click on the subcommunities and collections tab, and this tab shows you the collections in this community. And if you selecting one community, for example, images and graphics, the search results only displays the elements of these collections. If you are clicking on one element in the result list, you are traveling to the item page, the record page. The record page has the concept of a 2-column layout. In the first column, there is a title, the thumbnail, the files, and all the necessary data. For example, the date, when it is created, the authors and the publishers. And in the second layout, you can see the more about the textual side of the record, the abstracts, the keywords, rights, and other things. And this page has another viewing layout. It has a full item page layout where you can see all the data which this record has in a table layout. In the table layout, DSpace shows this data as a doubling core, using double core elements. For example, not showing the title, it is showing dc.title, and every metadata field has a doubling core storage element. So this page or this layout, the full item page layout, is mainly focusing about the storage, and you can see all the data which are in this record. In the simple item page, only the most important data are displayed, but it can be configured because it has a good theming feature in this release, and if the customer wants to have more and more data in the short item page or this simple item page, we can give extra fields or we can remove fields which the customer doesn't want. And without logging in, I think one thing I show you is the mobile-friendly interface. If I change to the mobile view, I can show you the page has a vertical layout where every data is correctly displayed, and if you are using your mobile phone, and I going back to the home page, you can see and you can search everything in your DSpace. So I think it's a good feature to have basically in this DSpace installment. Next, I would like to introduce you to the admin side of DSpace, where I will log in with my administrator credential. And if I logging in, I have administrator sidebar. Because I am a full administrator, I have role for everything, but in this demo I will show only the basic steps about DSpace. I demonstrated you about the repository architecture. These are my communities, but if you want to edit these communities or you want to create new ones, you just use the admin sidebar. You just click on new, for example, new community, new collection, new item, and if you are, for example, want to create a new community, you have to decide if you want to create a new top-level community. You just click on the top-level community. If you want to create a sub-community in a top-level community, you just select an already existing top-level community. If you want to create a new collection, you have to select your community, because collection always created in a collection. If you have a lot of collection, for example, so much more than this DSpace instance has, you have to, for example, 5 or 10 collections are already loaded in this page, and you can search for the remaining what you doesn't see at first sight, and just select which community you want to put your collection in. In this demo, I will try the discovery showcase, and if you want to create a collection, for example, in this top-level community, the only required metadata is the collection name. For example, I will create a collection about the webinar collection, and there is another feature which maybe if you are using previous DSpace versions you don't know so far, is the entity type. If you are using DSpace pre-DSpace 7, you are using the untyped version of the records in DSpace, but DSpace introduced in DSpace 7 the configurable entities model, and I loaded in this installation the serif entities, which are project, publication, person, and organization unit, and also loaded some other entities which can be related to each other. And for example, if I want to create If I want to create entities like records, I have to choose which entity type I want to store in this collection. The limitation in DSpace, you can't mix your entities in one collection. If you are selecting the entity type for a collection, for example, publication, all of the records which is coming to this collection will be publication entity type. And the other thing is recently exposed. You can change the form, which the publication form which this collection will be used. In previous versions, you could only change the form if you are editing XMLs in the backend, and in the UI you didn't have the ability to edit these elements. In this way, I will create. I don't use entities. I will show you the entities record in the next example. And in this collection, I will just use the traditional submission definition, and I will use untyped entity type. So I created the webinar collection, and if I have a collection, I can create elements. I can create records into the collection. You can create elements, items, or records. These are the same in DSpace. If you are clicking on the new item, you can change. You should select your collection you want to put in. I choose the webinar collection, and the traditional submission interface will come in. This interface has a file upload element in the top of the page where you can drag and drop your files or just browse your files. Now I select a sample image just to show you how to upload files. You can select multiple images. For example, if I select 2 images, it will be uploaded immediately in a row. And if I want to check every file is okay, there is a upload file element in this submission interface where every file is written out to check if it's okay, and you can modify. For example, you can delete one if you want, or any other things like that. And maybe I show you. This interface has this interface has parts which can be opened and closed, because it has elements which has requirements. For example, every DSpace record by default has to have a file, and if you upload files, you can check your file upload is okay. It has the traditional upload page. It has 2 discard feature. In the first part, you can put the author name. For example, I will type my name. I will add a title, for example, webinar test record. You have to every field which is required, it has an asterisk after the label. So the next field which is required is the date of the issue. I will add the current date, and I will add the publisher name as well. The next field, which is required is the type of the record, I will change the image and I will give a language option. And if you see, the first section is completed. Now, the second section is containing all the elements which are not required at the moment. For example, subjects. I will write test. You can write a short abstract of your record. And if this section is ready, the final part of the submission interface is the deposit license. DSpace, the traditional DSpace submission interface has a part where you have to confirm the license which the record has. And this license is a default written license by the DSpace team. Every collection and every institution has its own license if the institution wants to modify the textual content of the license. Now I just confirm the license, and now if I closing all the elements, I can see every part of the DSpace submission form is ready to deposit the file, and I will choose the deposit of the file. Now my submission is ready, and it is archived in the repository. And if I came back to the home page, I can see the latest one is my webinar test record. When I finish my test record, you can see I will travel to the My DSpace page. This is also an important thing. In DSpace 7, the DSpace team introduced a new page in DSpace. This is the My DSpace page, where you can see all of the records which you created so far in the system, and you can see all the necessary filters to search in your records. You can sort by a lot of criteria. For example, the last modification, the title, and the date which is issued, and you can change the result page size. This is how you can create new records, which is, I think, quite easily. If I want to create a new record in this My DSpace page, I have to just click on the plus elements. And if you use the plus elements, maybe if you are familiar with DSpace 7, 8, or 9, it's new to you that you have to select another thing, is the type of the item. Because I loaded the entity types in this instance, this DSpace can create not just items, it can create organization units, persons, really research projects, and publications. And that's why you have to choose another thing when you want to create a new item. If you are not loading your entities in the DSpace installation, if you are clicking on plus, you already traveling to the new submission form page. What I would like to show you, because I don't have a lot of time, is the entities feature. I spoke about entities a lot of time, and the entities are records which has connections to each other. If we are using untyped entities, all the metadata in the record is a textual one. And if we are enabling entities, and if you are creating, for example, publications, you can create publications where you where you can not just put the name of the authors, you can relate to an existing DSpace record. In this publication page.
Zoli, just a second. We have in chat a question that might be very close to what you are presenting now. So I thought it would be, sorry for interrupting, but I thought it would be a good time to discuss this question. We received a question from Lenuța Ursache from the University Dunărea de Jos in Galați, and Lenuța says, can you make a demonstration in Sandbox related on how the connections between entities work? Connections between entities, meaning person, organization, person, projects, organization, project. If you were going to talk about it, then okay. Then if not, can you allocate just a few minutes to detail it? So the question is, if you can detail a bit the connection between entities.
Yes, okay. I can, and I will start with it. To demo, I will demo one. For example, the relation between publication and person. I already have a person, which is me, Konászai Zoltán, and this is a person record. And this person record already has a connection between this sample publication. And to demo how can you relate two records to each other, I will create another publication. I go to the My DSpace page. I will click on plus and the publication. But in this part, DSpace listing all the collections which has the publication entity type. In this instance, I only have one collection. It is the publications collection. I'm clicking it, and to create the record connection, you see the author field has a search bar. If you click on the search bar, the DSpace shows you the already existing person records. You just click on the one you want to use. I click on my person record, and I'm closing it, and the connection is ready. You have the connection to the author, and you can write other fields. For example, sample publication 2 and other necessary fields, and I will be quick, and the only thing is needed to upload the file. I will upload the file. Now file upload requirements is okay. I confirm the license, and I can deposit the record. And now my DSpace page has this record. This is archived. If I'm viewing it, you can see the author's field is displaying my names. But if I'm clicking on this link, it results to the person page, where it shows my data, for example, email address, birth date, because every entity has its own metadata. Person entities has the names, the email address, the birth date, and other things you can add, for example, work ID, job title as well. And in this page, DSpace has an embedded search results, where you can see all the publications which is connecting to you. At the moment, I have 2 publications. So if you want to create record relations between other entities, it's the same. You're creating the new entities with the actual entities submission forms. In every entity submission form has all the necessary elements, but has one or two fields which are not textual. That fields are relatable fields where you have a search bar. You just selecting the entities you want to relate to the newly created records, and that's all. It's quite easily. The entities relationship is easily configurable. DSpace gives you a good starting point. For example, the Chris entities is a good starting point, and the journal entities are a good starting point, but it can be configured to create customer-like or customer-wanted entities and relations in your system. So I think it's that's for entities. And what I would like to show you is the process menu, which is really good if you are administrator and you don't have access to the server, because previous versions has a lot of CLI tool where you can create thumbnails, where you can update the OAI metadata, or you can update or import records. And if you are using newer DSpace instances, you can create new process just by using the DSpace frontend. Every feature is a process type in this page, and if you want to import records, which the Esther and Chilla showed you, you just have to create a new process. You just have to create the necessary arguments, and you can select your zip files and just save the process, and the process immediately starts. For example, it's an import process. It's immediately starts importing your records, and your records need to be in a simple archive format. Simple archive format is a required format to do this, but we can give you demo zip file to let you know how SAF format is looks like. Every records need to be inserted into a separate folder. Every folder has the files. Every folder has a dublink or XML file which has the metadata elements, and every folder has to have a contents file which lists the files you want to attach to this record when it's inserted to DSpace. So we can help you if you are if you want to bulk import things into your DSpace installation. I think the basics of the DSpace is over for me. I showed you the discovery interface, the search page, the result page, the item page, creating new records, modifying structure of the records, and DSpace has a lot of features. For example, you can import, export collections just by using these menu elements. You can which is important. You can administer the metadata registries in your DSpace. You can what is you can create notifications. Access control page has the feature where you can create users. You can put users into groups, and you can give credentials to users and groups also. So you have all the flexibility to use in the DSpace installation. Do we have any other question about DSpace Sandbox? If we don't have, I can give you some info about integrations, but I don't know if I have time.
I think I look at the audience and I see that everyone is still there with us. So I think if you consider it's an important topic, we can allocate a few minutes. We have no other new technical questions in chat about DSpace. So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have two things what I can mention for you and for everyone. The first is we have a digitized application, which is a pre-application before DSpace. You can create records just by using the DSpace interface, and it is good when your records are ready and your material are ready. But if you are creating and modifying your elements, what you want to archive, we have a digitized interface, digitized application where you can modify your images, you can OCR your scanned pages, you can create PDF documents from images, you can merge videos, you can create thumbnails from a lot of media formats. And to demonstrate shortly, I created a package because Digitize is package based. And when I logged in, this page shows my already existing packages. And the newest one is the DSpace WebVR package. I created three directories, one for documents, which is a PDF documents, one for pictures, for example, OCR images, and one for video files. And Digitize can not just can open you and see what's in there and how this file is look like, and you can, but you can transform these files. For example, if you want if you have scanned documents and you want to OCR it, you just have to select your file and run textual recognition. It is a printed one. I will choose a detail level, and I will choose English as a language option. Now the process is starting, and when it's ready, it creates an L2 XML file, which is the result of the OCR extraction, and I can check what's in this page. I can use the proofreading. I can use the proofreading interface where you can see in the left side your image. It can be zoomed, and in the other section, in the right side of the page, it displays you the textual ones, and you can edit if you want to. For example, the OCR is wrong in some words, you can edit and you can proofread it. But if it's ready, you can create PDF documents. Just select the page, and I will choose the tools PDF creation. It prompts me the name. It will be OCR test1.pdf, and the PDF is immediately created because it has 1 page, but I can select multiple pages, and in that case, more pages in that. And if I open a new tab, you can see now it's not an image; it has a textual layer in it. So that's the same for other tools. You can when I just click on the tools, it is grayed out because it is working. You have to previously select the files, but you want to work. And if you select the files, only the operation which is workable for your file will be available, and that's why there are some elements in this menu which are grayed out. But you can do texture recognitions, OCR, proofreading the texture recognition elements. You can create PDF, you can create thumbnails, you can watermark images, PDF documents, you can crop images. For example, if you want to crop, maybe in some way it doesn't show up, but you can crop images as well. You can transform videos. You can create video snapshots. You can merge videos. You can transform audio files. You can create document conversions. For example, if you have PowerPoints or Microsoft based formats, you can transform these formats into PDF files. You can create keywords for the files, and these are the most important things. And why I choose the Digitize. Digitize can be the platform which can be the zero phase before you create DSpace records. You are preparing your DSpace records here. For example, I created PDF documents, and I will create a publication into DSpace just by, at first I will select I will create a selection for the OCR result. I choose the PDF file and the source file, and in this phase I have a directory which has these two files. Now I can add metadata. For example, the author, the title. These are the required metadata in this digitized installation. For example, Qulto will be the author. The title will be digitized test for OCR. Date will be 2016, and the type will be book. I click on Save and Finalize. The metadata is ready, and I can publish this into a DSpace installation. I choose Publication. Digitize can publicate into itself because it has a file storage, but Digitize can publish into a repository, and I have DSpace configured to this Digitize, which is not the sandbox which I showed you. I have another installation of not Digitize, DSpace, which has a Qulto Digitize community, and this community has these collections. So if you are checking back, these 4 collections are listing here, which are the actual collections of this community, and you have to choose one. For example, it will be the first. And what is needed to every record has to have a service copy, and that's all the requirement. And you can change every file how these files can be used. And the second file, which is a JPEG, I will use as a thumbnail. Now it's okay, and I will publish. And if everything is okay, a new published content will be created, and Digitize already has a known record page, which is a basic one, but is used if you want to, if you don't have repositories behind it. But Digitize has a connection to DSpace, so I can go to the DSpace side of it, because it's another installation. It's dspace.demo.qulto.eu, and the newly created DSpace records are here. So if you not have the final version of your record, you can create just by using Digitize. If you have everything in your hand, you can use just by using DSpace submission page. You have all the availability to use. And the other thing I should mention is the discovery solution. DSpace, not the final stage of representing records. We have discovery services, for example. You can display your DSpace records. You can display your catalog records in your cataloging system and other systems as well. So DSpace is not the final part of the preparation and the displaying of records.
Thank you, Zoli.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I do hope that this demonstration managed to convince our guests that transition and modernization of repository is not that hard, and that DSpace is a very modern and flexible solution, yet very complex and easy to implement. And I also hope that we managed to convince the audience that they can rely on us for advice and for help with developing a repository project, and for a very good technical support, because Esther, I think, mentioned how important the technical support is when developing such a project. We have now reached the most important moment, I would say, of the webinar, but we kind of mixed the moments. We already took some questions, because that was the best moment not to go back to the DSpace sandbox. We now have to take a question for Esther that was addressed in chat. It was a question addressed by Evelina Frunzete from the library in the University Library in Iași. Evelina asked, how do you process your images? What solution you use for processing your images? And before Esther answers, I ask everyone in the audience, if you have any other questions, please open your cameras, open your microphones. We're eager to talk to you. And if you still have a few minutes to bear with us, we'd be happy to listen to your questions. So Esther, this was the question for you. What solution do you use for processing the images?
Thank you. Cilla will answer the question.
Thank you for the question. Yes, so mostly our documents are born digital. This is regarding the publications we are harvesting from the internet, and student thesis, because they are uploading their thesis electronically, and we store them only electronically. But in the case of archive material, we are using Abby Fine Reader for the OCR, and we started this year a new project where we are also using handwritten text recognition for the handwritten documents, which are really special documents. So this is a real digital humanities project, and it's still an undergoing project, so we didn't uploaded the documents yet, but we are going to. Oh, and we are using Transcribus software for the HDR.
Thank you. If there are any other questions, dacă sunt orice alte întrebări, suntem aici ca să răspundem. Vă rugăm să vă deschideți camera și microfonul și puteți adresa întrebările în română sau în engleză. Eu sunt aici ca să traduc. Aș avea eu o întrebare pentru Timea, dacă mai este cu noi. Timea, I hope you are still with us. You discussed about how you work with volunteers, and I think this is a very good. The way you work with volunteers is also a very good good practice example. So I would like to ask you, how many human resources do you need to validate the data that are coming from the public before the data enter the collection? Because as we discussed, the data are the real treasure that we manage. I do hope Timea is still around. Okay, maybe she's not here anymore. Anyway, I thank you so much for staying with us a little bit over the initial schedule. We'll ask Timea to give details about this question, and maybe we'll send you the answer in writing. I think we should get closer to the end of our presentation. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you most importantly to our speakers and to our guests from all kinds of universities and public libraries. Now we're getting close to the end, and I would like to remind a few details. So maybe I'd rather switch to Romanian now. Vă mulțumim foarte mult pentru participare. Vreau să vă reamintesc că vom publica înregistrarea webinarului pe canalul de YouTube al companiei Qulto. Veți primi toate aceste detalii într-un e-mail. Veți primi un scurt rezumat al e-mailului, link către înregistrare. Veți primi datele noastre de contact și sperăm că am reușit să vă trezim interesul fie pentru dezvoltarea unui repozitoriu digital nou bazat pe soluția DSpace, fie pentru migrare în cazul în care, ca cele mai multe biblioteci din România, gestionați în prezent un repozitoriu DSpace bazat pe soluțiile DSpace 5 sau DSpace 6. Nu lăsați limitările tehnice să vă stea în cale pentru a construi un repozitoriu modern și pentru a deschide publicului datele valoroase pe care le deține universitatea, biblioteca în care lucrați. Cred că ne apropiem de final. Dacă mai există întrebări ulterioare pe care poate nu ați reușit să ni le adresați acum, avem la dispoziție adresa romania@qulto.eu. La această adresă vă rugăm să ne scrieți și pentru a ne întreba orice legat de DSpace, legat de felul în care Qulto vă poate sprijini sau legat de oricare dintre invitații și prezentările care au avut loc astăzi. I think this is time to say goodbye.